Aboard the International Space Station, the silence of space enveloped the crew. The mission was routine until the sensors detected an anomaly, a slight but persistent blip moving towards them at an unprecedented speed. Astronaut Michael Jensen, mission commander, peered through the viewport with a mix of anticipation and unease. "Houston, do you see this on your end?" Michael radioed. The static crackled before a calm voice responded. "Affirmative, Commander Jensen. We're monitoring. Could be a satellite, but its trajectory is unusual. Keep us posted." As the object approached, it became clear this was no man-made satellite. It was sleek, shimmering with a metallic sheen that seemed to absorb and reflect the sunlight all at once. "Look at that design," murmured Luca, the Italian engineer on board. His face was pressed against the glass as the object aligned parallel to the station. Without warning, a hatch on the object opened, and a figure emerged. It was undoubtedly alien, tall and clothed in a seamless suit that glittered under the station's lights. The creature floated effortlessly towards them, stopping just short of the station's main airlock. Michael exhaled deeply, steadying his nerves before speaking into the communication panel. "This is Commander Michael Jensen of the International Space Station, representing Earth. Do you come in peace?" The alien tilted its head, a universal gesture of curiosity, and then touched a device on its suit. A moment later, its voice came through the speakers, clear and melodious. "I am Serena of the Coelum." "Yes, I come in peace." Michael nodded to his crew to remain calm and turned back to the intercom. "We welcome you, Serena. What brings you to our station?" "I seek knowledge," Serena replied, "and perhaps, in time, friendship. May I come aboard?" After a brief consultation with Houston and his crew, Michael hesitated but agreed. "Permission granted. We'll meet you at the airlock." As Serena entered, the crew of the ISS stood in a semicircle. She looked around with evident interest, her gaze pausing slightly longer on the various national flags pinned to the wall. Michael stepped forward. "I'm Michael, and this is Luca, our engineer, and Dr. Emily Park, our biologist. We're honored to meet you." Serena nodded at each crew member. "In my world, we share knowledge freely. I hope to learn from you." Luca, always the more outspoken, smiled broadly. "And we from you. How do you manage space travel in such a unique vessel?" "It harnesses energy you classify as dark matter," Serena explained, her voice filled with enthusiasm. "I can share this technology." Emily, curious and cautious, chimed in. "What's your interest in Earth?" Serena looked out the viewport, where Earth shone like a blue jewel against the blackness. "Curiosity," she said, "and a hope that you might join the broader community of intelligent species. Isolation is not good for knowledge seekers." The conversation continued, each question leading to another. Michael felt the initial tension dissolve, replaced by the thrill of the unknown. Here was an opportunity not just for technological exchange, but for a genuine interstellar relationship. Chapter 2. Understanding begins. The common area of the International Space Station had been hastily rearranged to accommodate their new guest. Michael, Luca, and the rest of the crew, along with Serena, gathered around the central module, which now served as a makeshift conference room. Luca, ever curious about the technical aspects, was the first to break the ice in this formal setting. "Serena, your vessel manages dark matter, you mentioned? How does your civilization harness such volatile energy?" Serena nodded, her eyes lighting up at the question. "Yes, indeed. We use a matrix of quantum stabilizers to manage the energy flux. It's much like balancing chemical equations, but at a subatomic level. Would you like to see the schematics? I believe it could advance your fusion research significantly." Michael observed the exchange, pleased with the cooperation but aware of the need for a structured approach. "That would be invaluable, Serena. We also have data on human adaptation to long-term space habitation. Perhaps there are elements that might interest you." "Absolutely," Serena responded, her tone conveying genuine interest. "Exchanging knowledge is a cornerstone of progress. My people will be thrilled to analyze the data." Dr. Emily Park, who had been reviewing notes on her tablet, looked up. "I'm interested in the biological aspects of your species, Serena. How do you adapt physically to different planetary environments?" Serena approached a digital screen on the wall, connected her device. Diagrams of alien anatomy appeared alongside human ones. "Our bodies are quite adaptable. We can adjust our internal pressure and temperature to fit different environments, much like your technology does externally with spacesuits. Tom, the station's communications officer, chimed in from his console. In communication, we're using universal translators now. But how do you handle language diversity? Our technology integrates neural adaptation processes, allowing immediate translation and comprehension, explained Serena. It's part of our standard education to learn to adapt linguistically. The crew listened, fascinated. The conversation shifted from technology to culture, exploring similarities and differences in art, governance, and philosophy. Michael steered the conversation toward collaboration. It seems we have much to learn from each other. Perhaps we could start a joint project, documenting the integration of our technologies and cultures. Serena smiled warmly. I would like that. Collaboration could pave the way for a more integrated galaxy. Understanding each other's world is the first step toward unity. Luca nodded, already brainstorming. We could start with a combined symposium aboard the station. Invite experts from Earth and your planet, exchange ideas, maybe even broadcast it to both our peoples. I'll coordinate with Earth's space agencies and get the necessary approvals, Michael assured, feeling a surge of excitement at the prospect of such an unprecedented event. As the meeting concluded, Serena turned to Michael. Thank you for this opportunity. I believe this is the beginning of something wonderful for both our species. Michael grinned, shaking her hand. The honor is ours, Serena. Let's make history together. The crew dispersed, buzzing with the possibilities ahead. Michael lingered, looking out the viewport at the stars. The universe seemed a little smaller now, and much friendlier. Chapter 3, Beyond Words. Serena's planet Selim was a canvas of vibrant hues and bioluminescent flora that bathed the landscape in a soft, ethereal glow. Michael, accompanied by Luca and Dr. Emily Park, had taken the opportunity to visit, their shuttle landing smoothly on the outskirts of a sprawling forest that looked like something out of a fairy tale. As they disembarked, Luca couldn't help but express his awe. It's like stepping into another dimension, he marveled, his eyes wide as he took in the shimmering vegetation. Serena, pleased with their reaction, led them down a winding path. Each plant here plays a role in our ecosystem. Much like your rainforests, but with a bit more glow. Michael chuckled. It's beautiful, Serena. I've never seen anything like it. As they walked, Serena explained the symbiotic relationships between the various species of flora and fauna, highlighting their planet's dedication to maintaining biodiversity. Her descriptions were punctuated by the occasional flutter of winged creatures that resembled butterflies but glowed like fireflies. Tom, ever the communicator, was busy documenting everything. This will make an incredible addition to our cultural exchange database. Earth's biologists will be over the moon. Or should I say stars? Serena smiled at his enthusiasm. I hope it encourages more interspecies visits. Understanding our environment is a step toward understanding us. The group reached a clearing where the ground was covered in a soft, moss-like substance that cushioned their steps. Serena invited them to sit and partake in a traditional Sela meal, which consisted of various fruits and vegetables that were both unfamiliar and surprisingly tasty to the human palate. As they ate, Luca broached a technical discussion. Serena, you mentioned your energy systems earlier. How do you balance environmental impact with technological advancement? Serena took a moment to formulate her response, mindful of the significance of the question. Our technology evolves with our ethics. We strive to ensure that every innovation is sustainable and benefits our planet as a whole. It's a delicate balance, but one we are committed to. Dr. Emily Park, interested in the scientific implications, added, it's fascinating. On Earth, we're still struggling with fossil fuels and renewable energy sources. Your model could provide the blueprint we need to advance without further harming our planet. The conversation flowed from science to technology, and then to the arts. Serena shared how Selim's culture was deeply integrated with their environment, influencing their music, art, and literature. As the day turned to evening, the bioluminescent light from the plants began to intensify, casting an otherworldly glow on the group. Michael took a deep breath, feeling a profound sense of peace and connection. This is more than just an exchange of knowledge, he mused aloud. It's an exchange of spirit. Serena nodded in agreement. When we share our world with others, we open our minds and hearts to new possibilities. May this be the start of a long and fruitful friendship between our worlds. Luca raised his cup, a gesture of camaraderie. To new friends and new worlds, the group echoed his toast. their voices blending seamlessly into the night, under a sky that wasn't their own but somehow felt like home. As they headed back to their shuttle, Michael looked back at the glowing forest, a silent promise to himself and to Serena that this was only the beginning. Chapter 4. Intimacy of Minds. The hum of the starship's engines provided a comforting rhythm as Michael, Jensen, and Luca leaned over a holographic projection in the central lab. It displayed a three-dimensional model of the energy system Serena's people used to harness dark matter. Serena stood opposite them, her sleek, shimmering suit catching the soft light. "This stabilizer matrix," Michael said, gesturing at the glowing nodes in the model, "is incredibly efficient. But how do you prevent energy surges during peak operations?" Serena tilted her head slightly, a gesture Michael had come to recognize as her considering a question. "The key is modulation. Our technology monitors fluctuations in real time and adjusts the flow dynamically. It's akin to how your pilots make minute corrections during atmospheric re-entry." Luca, scratching his chin, leaned closer. "Could we adapt something like this for Earth-based fusion reactors? Our current systems struggle with maintaining stability over time." Serena smiled faintly. "The principles are transferable, but your infrastructure would require significant upgrades. I can help design a prototype if you wish." Michael exchanged a glance with Luca, his eyes lighting up with the possibilities. "We'll take you up on that offer, Serena." As the men delved deeper into the technicalities, Emily entered the lab, holding a tablet filled with observations. "Not to interrupt the engineering brainstorming session, but Serena, can you explain the neural technology your species uses for interspecies communication? I've been reviewing your data, and the adaptability of your neural interface is astounding." Serena turned her attention to Emily, her expression softening. "It's rooted in our biology. Our brains have evolved to integrate external stimuli more readily. The interface merely enhances what we naturally possess." Michael, curious, folded his arms. "So it's like an extension of your mind?" "Exactly," Serena said, nodding. "It allows us to connect with others on a cognitive level, transcending language. For instance," she paused, then looked at Michael directly. "May I demonstrate?" Michael hesitated, but then nodded. "Go ahead." Serena stepped closer and touched a device on her wrist. A soft, violet glow surrounded her, and Michael felt a gentle warmth in his mind. Images, emotions, and sensations flooded his awareness. Serena's memories of her homeworld, the beauty of its landscapes, and even the joy she felt when she first encountered the humans. He blinked, stunned. "It's incredible. Like sharing a dream." Luca, intrigued, leaned forward. "Can anyone try it?" Serena smiled. "Of course. It's a mutual experience built on trust." Emily watched the exchange, her scientific curiosity mixing with a sense of wonder. "Doesn't it feel invasive?" Michael shook his head, still processing the connection. "No. It's intimate, but not intrusive. You only share what you want to." As they continued discussing the implications of such technology, Serena's voice grew softer. "This is why I came here. To show that understanding doesn't need to come through words or documents, but through connection." Michael studied her closely, sensing the deeper meaning in her words. "You believe that connection is the key to cooperation?" "Precisely," Serena replied. "When you truly understand someone, barriers dissolve. That's the foundation of our civilization." The conversation turned personal as the group shifted focus from technology to their lives. Lucas shared stories of his childhood in rural Italy, filled with laughter and family meals. Michael talked about his dream of becoming an astronaut and how it often felt like a distant star until he reached for it. Serena listened intently, her gaze steady and thoughtful. "Your stories remind me of my own beginnings. My people value exploration and discovery, but at our core, we're no different. We seek meaning in connection." The hours passed quickly, and soon it was just Michael and Serena left in the lab. The hum of the ship's system seemed quieter as they spoke. "You've given us so much to think about," Michael said, leaning back in his chair. "But it feels like you're holding something back." Serena hesitated, then nodded. "You're perceptive, Michael. There is something deeper that I haven't shared. My journey here wasn't just about knowledge. It was also about understanding myself, to see if I could connect with beings so different from my own." Michael leaned forward, intrigued. "And have you found what you're looking for?" Serena's gaze met his, steady and sincere. "I believe I have. It's not just about knowledge or technology. It's about the people. You, Luke, Emily, all of you. You remind me of the beauty of diversity and the power of unity. Michael felt a warmth in her words, a sincerity that struck a chord deep within him. Well, if it helps, I think we've all learned something from you two. This isn't just about first contact, it's about building something real. Serena smiled, a soft and genuine expression. Then perhaps we are more alike than I ever imagined. As they left the lab, Michael couldn't help but feel that something profound had just occurred. It wasn't just an exchange of ideas or technology. It was the beginning of something far more meaningful. A connection that would bridge not only two worlds but two lives. Chapter 5: The Love of a Human and an Alien. Back aboard the International Space Station, Michael Jensen and Serena stood gazing at the Earth as it floated serenely below them. The view from the observation module never failed to instill a sense of awe in all who witnessed it. Tonight, it served as the backdrop for a conversation that would deepen their connection. Earth looks so peaceful from up here, Serena remarked softly, her eyes reflecting the blue glow of the planet. It does, Michael agreed, turning to face her. Sometimes, it's easy to forget the complexities of life down there when you're looking at it from this distance. Serena turned to meet his gaze. Is it similar for you when you look at Selim from space? Very much so, Michael nodded. But tonight, I'm more interested in the complexities up here. A slight smile crossed Serena's face as she sensed the shift in his tone. Are you referring to our projects or something else? Something else, Michael admitted. I've been thinking about how different our worlds are, yet how similar our hopes and feelings can be. Serena nodded, her expression contemplative. It's something I've noticed too. Despite the vastness between our stars, our interactions feel familiar. Encouraged by her response, Michael took a step closer. I've learned so much from you, not just about technology or science, but about connection and understanding. It's made me see things differently. Serena looked up at him, her alien features soft under the station's lights. And I from you. I did not anticipate how deeply I could connect with someone so different. The moment felt charged, a turning point in their relationship. Michael reached out tentatively, his hand stopping just short of hers, a gesture asking for permission. Serena didn't hesitate. She met his hand halfway, her touch light but certain. Michael's heart quickened. I've been wondering what it would be like to close this distance, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Me too, Serena confessed, her voice equally low. But I worry about the implications for you, for me, for our missions. I know, Michael acknowledged. But right now, I don't want to talk about missions. Neither moved for a heartbeat. Then slowly, their faces drew closer. When their lips finally met, the kiss was gentle, exploratory. It was an affirmation of their mutual curiosity and the bond that had grown between them, transcending species and space. After a moment, they pulled apart slightly, still holding on to each other's hands. This feels right, Michael breathed, surprised at the intensity of his own emotions. It does, Serena agreed, her eyes searching his. But we must be cautious. We are not just individuals. We are representatives of our peoples. I understand, Michael said, his thumb caressing her hand. Whatever this is, we take it one step at a time. Serena nodded. One step at a time. The conversation shifted as they discussed how to navigate their relationship in the context of their interstellar duties. They agreed to keep their personal feelings discreet while focusing on their collaborative projects during official hours. As the night progressed, they shared more about their cultures, their fears, and their personal dreams. It wasn't just a physical attraction that drew them together, but a profound respect and admiration for each other's qualities and achievements. Finally, as the Earth completed another rotation beneath them, they parted ways for the night, each to their quarters. The space between them felt charged, filled with potential and promise. Michael lay in his bunk, staring at the ceiling, replaying their conversation and the feel of her lips against his. He smiled to himself, feeling a connection that he knew was rare and precious. He drifted off to sleep with a sense of anticipation for what the future might hold, not just for him and Serena, but for the bond between humans and Caleumites. The love of a human and an alien might just be the bridge needed to bring two worlds together in understanding and respect. Chapter 6: Between Two Worlds. The shuttle descended through the Earth's atmosphere, its hull glowing from the heat of re-entry, a stark contrast to the cold vacuum of space from where it had just come. Inside, Michael Jensen and Serena, along with Luca and Tom, braced for the gentle thud of landing. Once the shuttle had safely touched down and they disembarked, Michael turned to Serena, who looked slightly apprehensive, gazing at the vast, sprawling landscape of the Kennedy Space Center. "Welcome to Earth," he said, giving her a reassuring smile. "Thank you, Michael," Serena responded, her eyes taking in everything with a mixture of wonder and a bit of discomfort. "It feels heavier here. The gravity is a bit more than you're used to, but you'll acclimate soon," Luca chimed in, clapping her gently on the back. Tom, always ready with his camera, began documenting her first steps on Earth. "Think of it as a new adventure, Serena. Every great story has its challenges, right?" As they proceeded through the facility, Serena's presence caused a stir among the personnel, though everyone tried to keep their distance and respect her space. Michael led the group to a specially prepared room where they could speak more privately. "Serena, how are you feeling about all this?" Michael asked once they were alone. "It's overwhelming," she admitted, looking through the window at the blue sky and green fields beyond. "But I am here to learn and share, just as I promised." "I know it's a lot to take in," Michael said, "but we're here to make sure you have everything you need." Luca brought over a tablet with several environmental control options. "We've set up this area to adjust elements like humidity and air pressure to make you more comfortable. Just let us know what feels right." "Thank you, Luca," Serena said, exploring the settings on the tablet. After a few adjustments, she nodded. "That's better. It feels more like home now." "I'm glad," Michael replied. "We've scheduled meetings with various scientific and cultural leaders over the next few days. They're eager to meet you and learn from you." Serena's eyes lit up with curiosity. "I'm equally eager. This exchange of knowledge is what I hoped for." Over the next few days, Serena met with environmental scientists, tech innovators, and leaders in the arts. Each meeting was an opportunity to bridge the gap between human and alien understanding. Michael and Luca were always by her side, facilitating conversations and helping interpret the more complex human idioms and expressions that still puzzled her. One evening, after a long day of meetings, the group relaxed in a private garden attached to the facility. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink. "Today was productive," Tom noted, reviewing his footage. "You handled the questions about your technology and culture very well, Serena." "I'm learning more about humanity with each interaction," Serena replied. "Your diversity is as vast as the cosmos." Michael watched her, admiring her adaptability. "And you've shown us that despite our differences, we have much in common. More than we initially thought." Serena looked at him, her expression thoughtful. "Michael, do you think the people of Earth are ready for this? For a relationship not just with me, but with all of Selim?" "It's a big step," Michael acknowledged. "But from what I've seen, we're more than ready." Fear of the unknown can be powerful, but so is the pull of curiosity and the potential for new friendships. As the light faded and the first stars appeared, Luca pulled out a small device that projected a map of the galaxy. "Look, Serena, this is where your home is in relation to ours." Serena studied the map, then pointed to a star. "There. That's Selim. And it's no longer just a point of light to us," Michael said, his voice soft. "It's a place where a friend comes from." Serena smiled, looking between Michael and the others. "And Earth is no longer just a destination. It's a place where friends live." As the night deepened, they continued to talk, sharing stories and hopes for the future. The distance between their worlds felt smaller than ever, bridged by shared experiences and the bonds they had formed. The challenges of gravity and cultural differences paled in comparison to the understanding they had achieved, proving that even between two worlds, friendship could thrive. Chapter 7: Choices. The conference room was filled with a palpable tension as representatives from both Earth and Selim sat around the large oval table. Michael, Serena, Luca, and Tom were present, representing the initial human contact team, while a group of Caleumites, including a few of Serena's colleagues, joined the discussion via a holographic link. "We've come to a critical point," Michael began, addressing both the room and the holographic figures. "The relationships we've built, the knowledge we've shared, and the understanding we've gained are invaluable. But how do we move forward from here?" A Caleumite leader, Thun, spoke from a hologram. "Our people are concerned about the rapid integration. We value our privacy and security as much as our new friendships. We must consider carefully how much further we wish to integrate our societies." Luca nodded in understanding. "It's a valid concern. From the technological exchanges to cultural assimilations, we moved quickly. Maybe too quickly. Serena turned her gaze to Thurin. But isn't our aim to bridge our worlds? Fear of change is natural, but it shouldn't stop us from making real progress. Progress is essential, another Calamite, Lyra, added, but it must be balanced with caution. Our people aren't just worried about cultural erosion, they're concerned about becoming dependent on new technologies. Tom leaned forward, his hands clasped together. What if we established a phased approach? Start with joint ventures in neutral territories, like research stations on uninhabited planets. It would be a controlled environment to study the effects of our integration. Michael considered this. That's a solid idea. It would allow both sides to evaluate the benefits and risks on a smaller scale, without overwhelming either society. Serena smiled at Tom, grateful for his compromise. I believe that could work. It would show our commitment to each other's well-being, not just our curiosity or desire for advancement. The discussion shifted towards the specifics of such ventures, including the types of research that will be beneficial to both species and the parameters for sharing information and technology. As the meeting drew to a close, Thrun addressed Michael directly. Commander Jensen, your role in this has been pivotal. We trust your judgment and appreciate your sensitivity to the concerns of both our peoples. Michael nodded. Thank you, Thun. It's been a profound journey for all of us. We're committed to moving forward with respect and understanding. After the representatives left, the human team lingered in the room, each lost in thought. We're navigating uncharted waters, Luca mused, looking out the window at the stars. But I think we're steering the right course. Serena approached Michael, her expression serious. Michael, do you ever fear we might lose what we've started here? Michael took a moment before answering, his eyes meeting hers. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. But every great venture carries its risks. What matters is that we handle them together, as we have so far. Serena nodded, her hand reaching out to squeeze his. Together, she affirmed. As they left the conference room, the weight of their decisions lingered, but so did a sense of hope. They were pioneers on a new frontier, shaping the future not only for themselves but for generations to come. The challenges were significant, but the potential for a united future, rich in diversity and cooperation, was something they were all willing to work towards. Chapter 8. The Union. On the serene planet of Selim, a gentle breeze rustled through the bioluminescent trees, casting shimmering lights across the faces of the gathered crowd. Humans and Calamites alike stood side by side, witnessing a historic moment, a union not only of two individuals but of two worlds. Michael Jensen and Serena, both dressed in ceremonial attire that blended elements of Earth and Selim fashion, stood at the center of a beautifully decorated clearing. Around them, symbols of both cultures were interwoven, representing the unity and respect that had grown between their peoples. Luca, serving as Michael's best man, adjusted his collar nervously. Never thought I'd see you dressed like this, Mike. You clean up well, he joked lightly, trying to ease the tension. Michael smiled, his eyes scanning the crowd. Thanks, Luca. It feels surreal, doesn't it? From our first meeting in space to this. Tom, who was setting up his equipment to record the ceremony, nodded in agreement. It's one for the history books, that's for sure. You two are setting a precedent. As the ceremony began, a Calamite elder stepped forward, her voice resonating softly through the assembled guests. Today, we celebrate more than the union of Serena and Michael. We celebrate the bridging of galaxies, the understanding that has blossomed from curiosity and mutual respect. Serena took Michael's hand, her touch gentle yet firm. When I first came to your world, I was a seeker of knowledge. What I found was much more. A partner, a love that transcends the stars. Michael, his voice steady but filled with emotion, responded, and I who had looked to the stars for new discoveries, found in you a universe worth exploring, not just for the knowledge but for the heart. The elder handed them a woven band, made from materials native to both Earth and Selim. With this band, you bind your lives together. May your union be as enduring as the stars and as illuminating as the knowledge you share. As they tied the band around each other's hands, the crowd erupted in applause, the sound mingling with the natural symphony of Selim's wildlife. Luca and Tom, along with the other humans and Calamites, cheered, their faces bright with joy and tears. After the ceremony, the celebration moved to a large pavilion, where tables laden with Earth delicacies and Calamite cuisine awaited. Music, a fusion of both cultures, played softly in the background, encouraging guests to mingle and dance. Luca, grabbing a drink, leaned over to Michael. You know, this isn't just a marriage ceremony. It's a new beginning for all of us. Michael, watching Serena laugh with some Earth and Calamite children, agreed wholeheartedly. Yes, it's a new chapter. One where we learn from each other, live with each other, and maybe change the universe a little at a time. Tom joined them, raising his glass. To Michael and Serena, and to the peaceful exploration of all the worlds our future may hold. The night wore on, filled with laughter, stories, and plans for the future. Michael and Serena took a moment to step away from the festivities, walking hand in hand under the glowing canopy of Sealam's sky. Think of how far we've come, Serena said, leaning her head against Michael's shoulder. And how far we'll go, Michael replied, squeezing her hand. Together. As they looked up at the stars, two worlds no longer seemed so far apart. In their union, they saw not an end but a continuing journey, one of shared dreams, challenges, and infinite possibilities. And like and subscribe us for more sci-fi videos and daily new unique content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.